Yes, it's that time. Time for what? Yeah. Time for another edition of Maryland's Cafe Society Radio. Right here on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the show. How are you doing on this Saturday? Man, we've had some nice summer weather, right? In the last couple of days here in the Chicagoland area, especially out in the burbs. We hit 90s at least 7 days in a row in the past week. Lots of pretty sunshine, and although we did get some rain and some storms that came through to kind of sort of cool things off a little bit. Today I think we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s, which is nice. So make sure you get out and enjoy it, and let's keep in mind we need to practice the social distancing, right? All right, so yeah, I've been busy, as usual. Now, as you know, I'm doing 2 shows a week, so that's kind of up to my busyness, but I can handle it. And of course, with everything else that's going on, got some little projects that I'm working on, and all of that. So I've been a busy little camper and productive, and I hope that you have as well. And I'm trying to get these 19 pounds off. The COVID-19 for me means 19 additional pounds. It's been rough because, it's been so hot in the last week, but it's going to happen. We're going to get it off, and I hope you do as well. That's been everyone's complaint. Everyone that I bump into, they're saying, my gosh, we were on lockdown and just turned to food, but we'll be okay. We'll get it back in shape. All right, so are you ready for some coronavirus updates? Well, on this day, which is Saturday, July 11th, as of about 10 o'clock this morning, it's reported that there are 12.7 million cases globally now, more than 550,000 deaths, and listen, this is good, right? 7.4 million have recovered. So that's more than half of the cases that have been reported. Yay! Also here in the United States, there's a little more than 3.3 million cases reported as of 10 o'clock this morning, just under 137,000 deaths, and about 1.7 million have recovered. All right, so again, the numbers are pretty good when we look at those who have recovered. So let's hope that those who recover continue to, that we continue to see the recovery rate. Again, the reports are not looking good for a lot of states here in this country, particularly, once again, those in the South and out to the West. Numbers are continuing to rise. As a matter of fact, here in Illinois, on yesterday, we saw an uptick, which hadn't happened in a while, a big jump, but it's still not, knocking us out of the box in terms of being one of the leading states that are keeping the cases and the numbers and the deaths down. So again, remember to wear your mask and social distance to the best of your ability. I know it's hard, especially with it being the summer months, and some people are cautiously traveling, going to visit family members and things of that nature. And when you see somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, you just want to give them a big hug and all of that, and I just say, wear your mask, put on a couple different masks, and get that hug in if you can, just a quick hug, and then practice the social distancing just to keep yourself safe. All right, so let's get into some more COVID-related news. On Thursday, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said that the Trump administration wants to take away the enhanced unemployment benefits in this next coronavirus package. Yeah, take it away. Now, of course, under the first coronavirus bill, which was known as the CARES Act, it was put in place back in March. It instituted unemployment recipients to receive as much as $600 per week in addition to whatever their regular state unemployment benefits would be. And of course, that was all put in place to encourage everyone to stay at home because, we just didn't know what we were looking at initially in terms of this virus. Now the Trump administration and other critics say that unfortunately they think that the additional upwards of $600 per week may have encouraged those who became unemployed due to COVID not to want to look for work. So, our lawmakers are considering another round of stimulus funding. There's other proposals on the table that could replace this extra $600 per week. One would allow the unemployed Americans to receive additional funds on top of their state unemployment benefits, but it won't be the $600 per week. Another proposal would cap the additional benefits at the amount equivalent to the worker's prior weekly wages. So if you made $600 a week on your job and you became unemployed, your cap for the bonus benefits would be $600 a week. If you earned $300 a week on your job that you just lost, the additional benefits that you could receive weekly could not cap or surpass, should not surpass the $300. So we'll see. And then another proposal would do just the opposite of the enhanced unemployment benefits. Anyone who finds a job and returns to work would get a return to work bonus of $450 per week on top of whatever your new wages would be. So, they're trying to encourage people to get back to work, to get out of the house. I think, with the technology that we have now, and we all know that a lot of people are working from home. They may not have lost their job, but they're doing their work from home because technology is allowing us to do that now. And so folks have gotten kind of comfortable with that idea of working from home. And especially if they have children and so forth and so on, it just makes it that much more easier. So, we'll see how that plays out. Now, back in May, the Democratic-run House passed the $3 trillion HEROES Act that would, among other things, extend the extra $600 federal unemployment benefits per week that the unemployed are currently seeing to January of 2021. Now, supporters of this say that the enhanced unemployment benefits is key to keeping families out of poverty, and that's what they don't want. They don't want to see people, because of this COVID and because of the job loss, which they had nothing to do with their performance or anything, cause their family to fall into poverty. And so that's why they want to keep that $600 per week extra and benefits. So we'll see what happens. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said on Wednesday that the goal was to pass the next coronavirus bill when the Senate returns back from break, which is, I believe, July 20th, and their goal is to get that done before the end of the month, which, by the way, is when this extra $600 per week enhancement benefits will expire. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that something good happens for the people who unfortunately have lost their jobs. And speaking of all of this, all of these special programs that have been instituted because of COVID-19, it was reported on yesterday that the Small Business Administration, along with the United States Treasury, has released a list of over 600,000 PPP loan borrowers who received those benefits of $150,000 or more. And of course, the list included their names, general loan range, information, the state in which they were located, and other details. Some of the industries represented in those who applied for the PPP funding. include restaurants, construction businesses, and other industries that have been hit hard by this coronavirus pandemic. Now, one of the interesting things that have come out of this also is the significant number of sales and marketing businesses, investment advisors, professional service providers, and others in the service industry who have applied and received PPP loans, which sort of signifies that we are indeed in a service-driven economy, right? So what they're saying is, and actually I kind of looked into this briefly. I didn't do any like real detailed study of this Paycheck Protection Program that's being administered by the Small Business Administration, but a lot of phone calls prompted me to just kind of go and peruse it and see what was going on. And one of the key things that people who applied for it had to do was to make certifications in the loan application that, quote, current economic uncertainty makes this loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant, and that the proceeds of the loan will be used only for business-related purposes as specified in the loan application and consistent with the Paycheck Protection Program. So apparently there's a big issue about all of this. And as a result, the Small Business Administration also issued interim regulatory guidance that all borrowers must assess their individual economic need for the PPP loan under the requirements of the CARES Act and the PPP regulations at the time of the loan application. So it's been a mess. So here's what has happened. Now, there's a list of borrowers who applied for over $2 million that will be audited. There's also a list of borrowers who applied for less than $2 million who will also be audited. And of course, anyone who applies to have the loan forgiven will be audited as well. Now, the SBA did announce that there is a safe harbor situation instituted for PPP borrowers receiving less than $2 million, where the borrower will be deemed to have made the required certification concerning the necessity of the loan request in good faith. And PPP borrowers who receive over $2 million do not receive the safe harbor benefit and must prove that they are in fact entitled to the loan. Now, there is apparently a Department of Justice criminal investigation that is ongoing right now because they're saying that there have been some fraudulent applications, and also the Small Business Administration PPP audits have already begun. So, you know, prayerfully people are protected. You know, whenever you put money like that out there and people are hurting or anticipate hurting in their business, you know, of course people are going to jump right on the bandwagon. Now, from what I'm understanding, there were some situations for individuals who was able to expedite the loan that they received without doing the full certification process of the loan application. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle those people. You know, if the SBA approved it and the bank approved it, you know, without the certification, why should you hold the applicant only liable if there's some issue with it? You know, everyone involved should be held accountable. So we'll see. We'll see how that further develops. All right. All right. And so in June, nearly 14 million children here in the United States went hungry, which is an increase of more than 10 million since 2018. and nearly 3 times the number of children who went hungry during the Great Recession. And this is all according to an analysis of census data that was released by the Hamilton Project on Thursday. Now, of course, as this COVID-19 situation continued to rise, the food crisis shows no sign of going away either. The safety nets that were implemented back in March by the federal government, as I just reported, particularly the $600 extra income that families are getting, are set to run out at the end of the month. And so there's the issue also of whether or not children will be returning back to school, which is where some children get 1 or 2 of their meals a day. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Now, the data showed that not only are the unemployed struggling, but even parents who were able to keep their jobs are still struggling to pay for food because kids are home. And it's summertime, the kids would be home anyway, but then they would be in their camps and various other activities, probably summer school, where they would receive additional meals. But now that everyone's kind of home due to COVID-19, parents are spending a lot more money on food. And from what I'm hearing, it's not quite evident whether or not majority of the school systems will be returning in September. It's all going to be different, a new way of educating, perhaps. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show. Now, meanwhile, food generally has gotten more expensive. Have you noticed that? Listen, this is not food, but it's certainly a home necessity. For those who've been with me forever, you know that I love wipes, particularly the bleach wipes and the antibacterial wipes. And before the pandemic started, I had my little supply, and I remember what I paid for one big, I wish I had my props with me. I forgot to bring them, but maybe on Wednesday when I do the show, I'll show you one big size of wipes. Oh, gee, I can't show you what it looks like, but let's just say that they were maybe this big, okay, and maybe that tall. I paid right around $4 before the pandemic for them. So to my surprise, last week when I went into one of the stores that I generally shop in, first of all, there were the wipes again. I hadn't seen them in months, but there they were on the shelves. Not very many, but some. And the size container that I paid $4 for back before the COVID-19 pandemic was now $6. And the $4 container was much, much, much smaller. So anyway, I got off on a tangent to show you how not only food but other items have increased. Have you seen the cost of toilet paper now? My gosh, how can they do that to us? But anyway, everything costs more, right? Groceries have gone up about 5%, and staples like eggs and dairy and meat has gone up 10%. This is according to federal data. And it's mainly due to everyone being home. And folks take advantage of demand, right? So these people need this, let's go up on the price. They have to buy it. All right, so the demand for groceries have gone up, and the ability for people to bargain hunt has been decreased because everyone's kind of cautious about how long they stay outside of the house, how many different places they travel to outside of the house, and folks get tired of taking the mask off when you get in the car and putting it back on when you go in the store. And so, they don't do all of the bargain hunting that they used to do. And so, it's hurting some folks. So we will keep an eye on that. Of course, there's a lot of organizations out there who are helping. I get emails and even text messages from people telling me to spread the word about various food drives that are going on. and so forth. And so there's a lot of help out there, but we still want people to be able to do for themselves, right? So let's hope that things turn around and get better. All right, and speaking of schools, earlier this week, President Trump threatened to cut federal funding for schools that don't reopen this fall. As I said, some schools are saying we're not going to put our teachers and educators at risk, and we certainly don't want to put the children at risk, because how are you going to social distance a classroom that barely holds 30 students, right? How are you going to do that? How are we going to social distance students in school buildings that are already busting at the seams? What's that going to look like? So how are these schools going to be able to reopen this fall as if nothing has happened? It's going to be impossible. And so they're looking at other ways to educate the students. And of course, we've been hearing about distant learning for forever now. You know, the online learning in the early days was, you know, people turned their nose up at it because they felt like if you weren't in the classroom, you weren't really learning as you should. But now we're embracing it. We know that it works. And so some school districts are looking at maybe alternating days where half of the students go to school and sit in the classroom while the other half are online, and then the next day the half that was online the day before goes into the classroom, and the other half does the distant learning. You have to get creative to keep people safe until we know that this thing is over, and or at least majority of the population has built up an immunity to it, and we won't have to deal with this coronavirus anymore. So anyway, they have threatened to cut the funding for the schools that won't reopen this fall, which is a scary thought. And it looks like on Friday, the Trump administration announced that they have asked the Treasury Department to re-examine the tax exempt status of both universities and school systems that they believe are indoctrinating radical left beliefs instead of educating the children in this country. Now, it's not clear what the president or the administration meant when they said radical left indoctrination, but obviously, you know, I guess we can all figure it all out. But they also did not sort of say who is going to be policing or determining what is considered radical left indoctrination or teachings or activities. That is going to get ugly. All right. So, that situation is going to be leaving a bad taste in educators' mouths and students' mouths and parents' mouths and, you know, just everybody's mouths. But in addition to that, many teens are currently upset with President Trump as he and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo have bantered the idea of banning TikTok this week. Yes. What's the problem, you ask? Well, for starters, ByteDance, which is based in Beijing and is the parent company to TikTok, has been banned in other governments because they consider it a potential national security threat. In fact, India recently banned TikTok and 58 other apps in their current geopolitical tic-tac move. Now, for those who don't know, TikTok, it is a global phenomenon. In fact, just last quarter one, well, 2 quarters ago, quarter one, it set the record for most quarterly download apps ever. That's how popular it is. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, TikTok's parent company, as I said, ByteDance, is trying to get ahead of the problem here in the United States. They recently hired an American CEO. They have beefed up their lobbying team in DC, and they have considered a revamp of its management and also are looking into moving the headquarters out of China. Now, a side note, FYI, on Friday, Amazon sent an internal email telling all of its employees to delete TikTok from their phones because of the intensifying national security risks. Then, 5 hours later, they sent a second email stating that the initial email was sent in error and to disregard it, never mind. So we'll watch this and see what happens. Stay tuned, everybody. It just gets interesting and interesting, right? All right, so guess what? The annual 7-Eleven Day, aka Free Slurpee Day, has been canceled. But the free frozen drinks are still up for grabs. Today is 7-Eleven, by the way. So just like everything else, the coronavirus pandemic has led the nation's largest convenience store chain to cancel its in-store birthday celebration and one-day freebie giveaway. But members of the 7 Rewards loyalty program should have received a coupon for a free medium Slurpee added to their accounts last Wednesday, I believe, July 1st, or on July 1st. And that is going to be good through the entire month of July. Now, 7-Eleven also plans to donate 1 million free meals to Feeding America, which is considered the largest domestic hunger relief organization in the country. Good for them. Yeah, that's another one. And No Kids Hungry is another good one. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot going on in terms of helping families who just can't keep up with the exorbitant food budget. You know, how much money they're spending on food now that everyone's home. And so all these organizations are good. All right, so 7-Eleven Day, which is today, has been happening since July 11th of 2002. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and go to the stock market. Let's see what was happening at the close of the market on yesterday, Friday, July 10th. The Dow was up 369.21 points to 26,075.30. The S&P 500 was up 32.99 points to 3,185.04. And the NASDAQ was up just under 70 points to 10,617.44. Gold was down $1.90 to $1,801.90, and oil was up 93 cents to $40.55. Stocks that did not do so well at the close on yesterday includes Eli Lilly and Co. They were down by $3.09 to $163.36. And WD-40 Co. was down $6.44 to $194.06 due to disappointing second quarter financial results. Stocks that moved up at the close on yesterday include Carnival Corp. Yeah, they're reportedly seeing a rising demand for bookings in 2021. People can't wait to get back out there in the oceans. And they were up $1.58 to $16.16 per share. And Gilead Sciences Inc. is up $1.61 to $76.32 because of an encouraging study of remdesivir, which is supposed to be a good treatment for COVID-19. So that's a quick look at the stock market, my friends. We do not have Cafe Talk today. Perhaps I'll think of something interesting that we can throw out there for Wednesday's show. We'll see. All right, I do have a laugh of the day with Think and Laugh Daily. You ready? You ready? Here we go. Why did the train go left? Why did the train go left? 'Cause it couldn't get on the right track. I know. They just get better and better, or gooder and gooder, as you say, or as I say, or we all say, they say. I'm queuing up some music to take us out, everybody. This is just some music that I kind of tune into. I listen to everything, but when I'm thinking about my parents and everything, I kind of play some of their music. So this is the one and only Count Basie. He helps me kind of get through the day and get through some of the in-house projects that I'm working on, as well as some of the outdoor projects that I've been working on. So I hope you enjoy as we close out the show. Now, of course, I don't own rights to this music. I just enjoy it. All right, remember, folks, you can still promote, advertise your business service product with Marilyn's Cafe Society on YouTube. You can also help us out with our upcoming annual Christmas giveaway, which will start in October. It just didn't feel right making it happen so soon, especially with so much still kind of going on with this COVID-19. So I canceled the Christmas in July thing, but we will definitely be doing the kickoff in October for the Christmas giveaway. So if you want to participate, shoot an email to well, not me, but producer at MarylandsCafeSociety.com, producer at MarylandsCafeSociety.com, and I'll get some more information to you. Also, remember, I'm on social media, Twitter at Maryland's Cafe Soch, Facebook at Maryland's Cafe Society, the website MarylandsCafeSociety.com, and the blog on WordPress, Maryland's Cafe Society, and of course right here on YouTube, Maryland's Cafe Society Radio. All right, you ready for some Love Is? Here it is. Love is enjoying extended time with family. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? All right, everybody. So remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and love. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege to hang out with you guys. And we'll do it all over again right here on Maryland's Cafe Society on YouTube. All right. Peace out, everybody. Take care.